hope is that more people will become aware
Mm-hmm.
of this, and more doctors will become aware,
Mm-hmm.
because the doctors I went to had never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
The first several doctors I went to, they didn't know what it was. They're old school, they just think you just need to have it taken out. And that's just, to have such a vital organ that controls so many things in our body,
Yes.
to just yank it out, is so not good. And I'm so thankful they have this alternative now. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping, my friend was telling me that the one that lives in Europe, she's American, but she lives in Europe. And she was telling me, yeah, thyroidectomies really aren't, they're not done here. It's not,
Really?
RFA is like the standard.
Wow.
And that's where I'm hoping that America will get to.
Yeah.
It might take a while. And I think COVID has affected some of that, because none of the doctors have been able to have their conferences, that they
Right.
have every year, where they learn the new technology and they learn all the new things. So I think that it's maybe slowed down some of the doctors being educated about it. But my particular endocrinologist,
Mm-hmm.
she actually is now training
Mm-hmm.
doctors in the
Yep.
United States on this procedure, which is amazing.
Yep.
And
My
she's an
doctor's
old
training them
school.
too.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, during this pandemic, he's been doing all kinds of virtual, like this, conferences with doctors. I've actually gotten to sit in on a couple of them. It's so cool to hear them presenting,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
what they're learning and how they're using this. And I think it's slowed down like the mainstream, the ones that are more old school.
Yeah.
But the ones who are innovators, who are early adopters, they are taking advantage of this time,
That's
to
great.
really get learning under their belts and be able to offer this. And I'm so excited to see this year how
Mhm.
many more doctors join the list. I think right now we're somewhere around 35 known doctors in the U.S. And I think that there's even some doctors that are offering RFA that I'm just not aware of just yet. So,
My right side there was nothing wrong with it whatsoever. It
mm,
had no nodules, no, um, yeah. And
man,
it was just my left side that was crazy. And I'm really thankful for that, because I think if it had been on both sides,
yeah.
I may have been more willing to have a thyroidectomy.
Mhm.
But I think what is alarming to me, and what really upsets me about when I hear people talking about going to doctors and what happens, I feel like a lot of doctors are just so quick to go straight to the knife, and
Yes.
they'll just tell you. I mean, even my thyroid surgeon that I went to was like, "Oh, you'll be fine. No worries." And I even told him about my mother's the cervical dystonia. He didn't even really know what that was. He was like, "Oh, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it."
Mhm.
And he's like, um, you'll need to be on some medication, but it's no big deal." And I think that a lot of times they're quick to dismiss, or to kind of not give the severity of how your life can be affected.
Mhm.
And for people that don't know anything about the thyroid, and they don't know anyone else who's ever had thyroid issues, they'll just say, "Oh, okay, well that sounds easy." And
Yeah.
then it's too late. They've had half their
Yep.
thyroid taken out, or their whole thyroid taken out, and now their life for the rest of their life is going to be
Mhm.
affected. And here's the thing that I really dislike about endocrinologists is this. A lot of endocrinologists, they just look at the numbers.
Right.
And if your numbers are within range, you're fine. I even talked to my endocrinologist about, because my numbers were within range, but I was
Mhm.
feeling awful.
Mhm.
And I was taking Synthroid while I was waiting to have RFA, because my thyroid was not functioning correctly, just because of the nodule. My mother takes Armor, which is
Mhm.
a natural thyroid, coming from a pig's thyroid. And a lot of endocrinologists are very against Armor.
Mhm.
Um, but it's for people who can't convert their T4, which my mom
Right.
can't. And when she started taking Armour, she felt like a whole new person. She felt amazing.
Wow.
And so I said, what if we tried it? Because, obviously she's my mom. I probably have her same genetics. So
Right.
what if we tried it? And she said, well, are you a pig or are you a human? That's what she said to me. And I'm just like, I'm
But they use pig valves in heart surgery. So why would that be a problem?
right.
I mean, I'm not a doctor. That kind of makes sense to me, but
right. I know, but a lot of endocrinologists, I feel like, are quick to dismiss a patient saying, I don't feel right. I don't feel good. I have low energy. I know my numbers are within range. But like for me, my TSH was at 3.5, which yes, is in normal range.
That's on the high end though.
But compare 3.5 to someone who's walking around with 1.5. How much better is the person with 1.5 going to feel?
Right.
And so I hope that changes in the medical industry. Doctors becoming more aware. And maybe it's that they're desensitized because every patient they see, I'm sure, is like, I feel awful.
Yeah. I think that probably plays a role. And another point that I made in one of my last blog posts, which I'm going to make a video about this because I think this goes right along with what you're saying about people have surgery because, a lot of doctors just tell them it's no big deal. It's no big deal. You'll be fine. Well, I think a lot of times when they say that, they mean it's no big deal for them to do the surgery on you because they've been trained. They know what they're doing. It's no big deal to them, but they're not living the rest of your life in your body. And to you, it may be a huge deal. You've probably heard my story before about my knee surgeries that I had when I was 18. I'm 38 now. I'm permanently disfigured from those surgeries. It was told to me the same thing at the point when I went in for that knee injury. I said, can you fix this? And he said, oh, it's no big deal. I can fix it. You'll be back to college classes in a week. And I said, okay, sign me up. And I had my life completely changed after that. And I don't think that they always, when doctors say it's no big deal, I don't think that they always mean it's no big deal for you. Sometimes I think they mean it's no big deal for them. Sure, a lot of them probably do mean it's no big deal for you because they've probably seen plenty of patients go through the surgery and come out fine, but maybe they haven't gone with them the rest of the way down the road to see how their life changes from that point forward, which can be huge. So
absolutely. Yeah, because, a lot of people will go to a thyroid surgeon and other than your follow-up visit, you're not going to see the thyroid surgeon after that. So they don't know your quality of life. They don't know what you're going through. My mom, when she went back to her thyroid surgeon, she had to go back like a year later for a follow-up. And at this point, her cervical dystonia was not severe, but it was significant. I mean, her head was turning like this, and she brought it up, and at that point, she didn't even know what it was called or anything. She just said, I noticed my neck is turning, and it started after my surgery. And the surgeon was like, oh no, I mean, just basically like told her it was in her imagination. And that, didn't want to say it had anything to do with the surgery. And I'm thankful that we have doctors that are innovative and that are wanting to think outside the box, really for the sake of the patient's quality of life. Because RFA, I mean, the gift of RFA is that it gives you a quality of life that you would not have if you had a thyroidectomy. And I'm thankful that there are doctors that care about a patient's quality of life. Unfortunately, I think there are a lot of doctors, especially endocrinologists, who see patients day after day that say, I don't feel good. I don't, that
they kind of get numb to it, I think.
They get numb to it and they're just like, well, everyone doesn't feel good. My RFA was in August. So now we're at, August to January. And I can tell you, I feel almost like a completely different person. and it's probably not even shrunk half, I mean,
Mhm.
I still have a mass on my thyroid, but just the amount it shrunk in
Mhm.
that amount of time has affected so much how I feel and my energy level,
Mhm.
and I can breathe. I mean, just things like I can breathe,
Mhm.
I can sing, I can swallow, I can, um, I just feel like such a more like myself. Um,
Mhm. That's
excuse me.
really interesting to hear because that happened to me too. For the couple of years leading up to my RFA, I really just felt like trash all the time. I have two kids, and I remember there were many, many days where I just really couldn't do much more than the bare minimum. And I was so tired all the time. It didn't matter how much I slept. It didn't matter if I just sat on the couch all day. I couldn't do much more than that. And I thought, I'm in my 30s. This is not right. And, that led me to going to the doctor and trying to figure out why I was feeling so bad. And all my tests came back normal, except for that I had this mass on my thyroid. And so there was a part of me going into the RFA that wondered if I would still feel bad, but I would at least be able to breathe better. And it absolutely changed how I felt within a week. I started feeling more, like you said, like myself. I felt more clear-headed. I felt like I could breathe better. I felt like I had more energy. And now, I mean, I had my first RFA in July of 2019. I can say that the difference in how I feel now and how I felt then and in the 2 years leading up to that is like, this is going to sound extreme, but like someone who's dying compared to someone who's healthy. I think that the constraint on your ability to breathe, I think it can basically just slowly choke you to death.
Absolutely.
That lowering of your oxygen and also just the amount of energy that it takes your body to because you're not consciously controlling that. Your body is having to do that for you. And I think that it just uses up so much of your energy trying to get enough air. And so yeah, I am a completely different person now than I was in 2019, 2018. Um, and I know you're so thankful for this. I am so thankful for this.
I
Um,
am.
it's
I
changed
am.
our lives. It's changed so many other people's lives.
Oh my goodness. I'm so thankful that I found your group. I'm so thankful that I learned about this procedure. And I'm thankful for my mom who taught me to not give up, to advocate for
Yes.
myself,
Yes.
not take the first answer a doctor gives you. There's
Yes.
usually another way. There's usually something else if it doesn't work for you.
Mhm.
And to try and find whatever that is. And man, I can't tell you how much better I feel, and I think I'm just going to keep feeling better as it shrinks more and
Mhm.
more.
That's the end of this segment. To keep watching, click here. Or YouTube thinks you might like this video. If the story resonates with you, give this video a thumbs up or consider subscribing. And never forget to always educate yourself and be your own health advocate.